Good morning. Welcome everyone on Monday morning, November 1st. Can you believe it's November? I'm in my office this morning, so it feels a little echoey, so sorry. Jan Akins, good morning to you. Normally I film on the top of the hill here at the church property, but it's just so dark, and so I decided to go the easy route this morning, just film in my office. Jim and Kathy, good to see you this morning. Barbara Richardson, welcome. Wendy, good morning. And Jeremy, if you're also watching, Karen Faust, Deanne Fine, welcome everyone. It was such a good night last night, and so many of you who have joined the live stream already this morning. Jonathan, I see you. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the hard work. Dana, boy. You guys are all here. There's my mom. Good morning. I don't know if we got a final count or a final estimation on how many kids were at the Harvest Festival last night. Hundreds. Maybe 1,000. Steve and Andrea, good morning. Debbie King. Man, I think 80% of people who are here this morning were there last night. I hope you're watching from bed. That would be my hope for you this morning. Richard Van Allen, good morning. Oh yeah, Dana says at least 1,200 kids. That is pretty fantastic, pretty amazing. Praise the Lord. All the hard work in preparation and all the hard work that went into the actual night. Yeah, thank you all those who invested so much. Deanne, I know you did so much on the front end, and people there late last night and unloading the final vehicles in the building. Yeah. So, Janisa, good morning. This morning's devotion, we should just call it the post fall festival gathering, because it's like 95% of people who are here this morning were there last night. I can't believe it. I figured it'd be like 3 people total. If you're feeling like me, I think I would have, if I weren't actually hosting the live stream. Well, I guess maybe if I could watch it from bed, I could, but so welcome everyone this morning. And it won't come to as a surprise to you that my theme for this morning's devotion is found in Genesis chapter 2, the opening verses. So God has created all things, and morning, evening, first day, second day, all the way through the 6th day. He's just created man. That 6th day was a long day, particularly. A lot of things happen on the 6th day. Not only does he, cap off all the created things, he creates man on the 6th day, and Adam, I guess first thing in the morning, God introduces him to the garden and has him start naming animals. So I don't know how many animals he named, but a representative number of the animals that were created at that point. Obviously, not all of them. And then he performs major surgery. He puts Adam under general anesthesia. He takes a rib, makes Eve, and then wakes Adam up. I mean, I've had surgery. You don't just pop out of surgery and like, hey, let's go back to normal life. The 6th day is a long day. And he gets up and is like, wow, Eve, now this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And they work together. As much as I always talk about that passage on when I'm doing weddings. I feel like that's God's intention for man and woman. But that's if you expand that beyond that moment, um, there's a bigger message there that because Adam and Eve are representative of all of the human race. So the bigger message there is that we can't do it alone. We can't do what God has called us to do by ourselves. God has created us for deep relationship with one another, and to do what He's called us to do, we need one another's help. And He created each of us to perfectly fit together in teams and relationships, and fast forward to the New Testament, to the church. And last night was such a great example of this. So God has created all these things. He's given the beauty of creation. He's placed mankind in the garden. Long day, sixth day. And the end of the sixth day, He's like, it's good. God looks at everything He's done at this point. All good. Boy, what a great week. And after that full week, not that God needed to rest, but He did. So this is where chapter 2, verse 1 comes in. Thus the heavens and earth were finished, and all the host of them. Now the host is referring to all the planets and stars. When I think about creation, I kind of zero in on just the landmass, and specifically Eden and man and woman, right? Because they're kind of the pinnacle of the story. But it's like after He created all the planet Earth and mostly water at this point, with likely one big landmass, where man is. But it includes the heavens, the stars, the sun, moon, and all the planets. He finished all of them, and on the seventh day, God got to work. Right now we're really going to start doing things with mankind and start the whole beginning of time into motion. Now, no, that's not what He does. On the seventh day, God rested from all of His work that He had done. And this is so important for us to see, because God obviously doesn't need to rest. After all of that work, after that long sixth day, I'm looking at it from a human perspective, right? God did not expend any energy. He was not tired. He was not somehow fatigued in the slightest. He would speak, and these things would just happen. This is just this untapped, immeasurable, undiminished power of God at work. Yet, on the seventh day, God rested. He ceased from all of His creative actions, and didn't do anything that day. Obviously He's sustaining all things at this point, but it's a principle for us that that He would ordain for us and bless this idea of working 6 days and resting on the seventh day. And it would become a principle for us. And it would be drawn from, for all generations, and drawn from metaphorically in the New Testament. Jesus is now our rest, our Sabbath rest, all of these things. And it's a principle for us to follow. And I love that. And today, it is so applicable. All of you watching this morning that were there last night, and even if you weren't there last night, we've completed an entire week's journey. Yesterday might have been your seventh day, or Saturday might have been your seventh day. Your rest day is what I'm referring to, right? Well, today is my rest day. And so I am taking it. And I normally work on Mondays, but I decided early last week, I'm going on 3 weeks straight of 7 days, no rest. I violated this principle, this gift of God. It was by necessity. There were just circumstances that didn't allow me to have a weekend or a day off for the last 3 weeks, culminating in this weekend where we had the men's conference. I spoke Friday night. I spoke Saturday morning. We had a wedding Saturday afternoon, evening, church on Sunday morning, birthday party Sunday afternoon. We had the harvest party last night. So all I got to say is, and kind of add insult to injury, when I knew my emotional tank was being depleted. All last week, I was low. Last Monday, was it last Monday I did my devotion on I just was exhausted. Or maybe it was too much, I can't remember. But so this whole week, I was like on a downhill slide. I go, I just got to make it. Just got to make it to the next Monday. That's my break, you know. And when that happens to me, my emotional tank gets low. Not only do I have to be very vigilant about how I treat people, especially people that are safe to me, like Martha. You know, she's completely safe to me. I can just let it all out, and like I'm grumpy, you know. I had to really guard myself because Martha doesn't deserve that. She's working just as hard as me, and harder lots of times. And so just you have your guard up, you're trying to do everything the way that's pleasing to God and relationally healthy with other people. But then, and when all that happens, I get depleted. To add insult to injury, my sleep cycle starts getting, how my body responds, I have a hard time sleeping. Ironically, as that is, Saturday night before yesterday, Sunday morning, I was up since 2:30. I could not go back to sleep. I woke up and, you know, well, great, this final long day, I'm going on, just a couple of hours of sleep. So anyway, this principle of resting is so vital. And sometimes we feel bad about taking time off. And we have to justify it. And here I am doing a whole devotion justifying why I'm taking a Monday off. But the reality is it's a gift from the Lord. It's a blessing from Him to replenish. I know I need to be replenished. I am so emotionally, especially, not necessarily physically, but emotionally, my tank is empty. So Martha and I, we're going to take her folks down to, and her sister, to the airport this morning. But the rest of the day, we're just going to be, she and I, with some much needed face-to-face communication. And just enjoying one another's company. So I just encourage you, there's so many of you that are here this morning that likely deserve a day off. Maybe you're not able to get today off. Maybe you're hitting the ground running today. I just want to emphasize that this idea of work with a balance of rest is a gift of God, and a gift that we can sometimes, and I have many times in my life, neglected. It's okay circumstantially to kind of go for a period of time and like you're more busy than normal. Sometimes circumstances just, that's the way they are. But that shouldn't be our pattern of life. Our pattern of life, we need to slow down. It's okay not to get everything done, to make sure that we are investing in relationship and letting our body, our emotions to be replenished, and so that we can minister out of fullness, not out of an empty tank. And that's God's intention for us. That's why He gave us this day of rest, and to be able to commune with Him and with one another, to have our physical and emotional energies replenished, and to enjoy the gift of a relationship with God. And so today is my Sabbath day. It's kind of out of sequence, right, from a normal 6-day versus whatever, 1 day off, but I'll take it. And I pray for many of you who probably are exhausted this morning after last night, that you get the rest you deserve today, that is treated as a gift from God. If not today, work that into your schedule this week somehow. I pray that you are able to get physically and emotionally and spiritually replenished as a true gift from our Lord. Well done, good and faithful servants. Enter into your rest. I'm kind of misquoting that that passage, but apply it as it may today. And so, Lord bless you, and we will see you again tomorrow morning, first thing.